Hello there, chummers, and welcome back to the Hard Knocks Sorority Podcast, a Shadowrun 4th Edition actual play podcast. In episode 25, we experience Shadowrunning by text message. Boxer has words with a knight errant officer, while Grace has fun with spirits, and Deandra shops on the black market. In short, your standard legwork session. As always, featuring Veronica as Cecile, Beth as Grace, aka Nightingale, Kat as Deandra, and Val as Ollie, aka Boxer. I'm really happy that you are joining us on this journey and hope you enjoy it. If you do, please tell your friends and leave us a positive review. We are available on most podcast services, YouTube, iTunes, etc. You can also find a link to our Discord server in the podcast description and on our YouTube channel. We would love to hear from you, and we share a lot of in-game pay data there as well, such as maps, intros, fluff, and character stories. On to other topics only tangentially Hard Knocks sorority related. As I'm sure runners of your caliber already know, there is a lot of excellent Shadowrun content available on the Matrix. Podcasts that inspired me to start this show, and podcasts that reminded me of my love for Shadowrun, and podcasts that I find aspirational. This episode's promo features the Bug City Blues Show. If you were ever curious about what is going on in Chicago, check them out. It's a great show and a lot of fun. Again, thank you, chummers, and don't forget, watch your back, conserve your ammo. If your face is shooting, Drek has hit the fan. And never, ever make a deal with the dragon.
Good day, citizens of Chicago. This is Oakley Wildwood, your anchor at Gold Leaf News Network, bringing you the latest developments from the heart of the UCAS. And now for the news. The Chicago Containment Zone is witnessing a surge in kidnappings that has left the city on edge. Travel in groups for safety, folks. A good crew could be what gives you the edge to make it to your next paycheck. The streets are witnessing a spike in vehicle thefts and carjackings, leaving everything from jackrabbits to delivery trucks as smoldering, bullet-ridden scrap heaps. Lone Star PD advises secure private parking whenever possible. But in Chicago, even the safest of places can become a battleground. On a more hopeful note, the ghoul communities of Cabrini Green are uniting, driven by a hunger for justice. Vigilantes targeting infected citizens have been escalating tensions, promising violence if they do not leave the city. Those sympathetic to the ghoul cause have offered support by providing donations and offering security, though officials assure that they seek a non-violent resolution to the conflict. There's a lot going on in 2080s Chicago. Stay informed, stay safe, and stay with us by tuning in to Bug City Blues, a Shadowrun 6th World Edition actual play podcast, wherever fine podcasts are found. Now, back to your regularly scheduled programming.
We once again find ourselves in that opulent wood-paneled office that we've seen before with its views of Puget Sound. Those views are obscured by a thick haze, though. Instead of sunlight, the space is lit mainly by an angular light fixture made of glossy dark wood and polished steel. Its surfaces are thoughtfully angled to shine reflected light onto the highlights of the office. The large wooden desk and the chair, of course. but also the exotic plants and the fifth world art hanging from the walls and carefully displayed on shelves. The older human male with the thick shock of white hair and the unnaturally pale skin is facing the windows. He is sitting in an elegant chair whose creamy leather surfaces match those of the table and couch, arranged artfully on a rug of deep lapis blue. His left leg is crossed over his right, and he is holding a crystal tumbler filled with a liquid of deep amber. Across from him, in a rather less relaxed posture, back straight and upright, hands on her knees that are firmly pressed together, sits Alice DeVry. Her impeccably tailored skirt and jacket of gray leather show the subtle signs of armor plate. The deep blue blouse's narrow straight collar provides the perfect backdrop for the intricate gold chain hanging around her neck. From the chain hangs a pendant of gold and enamel depicting a spider. The pale man lifts his glass and salutes Alice before taking a practiced sip. I must admit, my dear Alice, that I am quite disappointed with your performance regarding your current task. However, I do not doubt your abilities. No, you have proven yourself a capable tool time and time again. This time, I fear, fate contends against me. A dangerous glint appears in Alice's eyes as she is described as a tool, and it instantly vanishes again. If the pale man notices, he gives no indication. He continues. The very fact that this girl, Cecile, has remained so elusive is now explained by her inexplicably working with this man Ice. The fact that they came into contact with George Van Housen of all people indicates that there are deeper machinations at work. He sips again. Don't you see, Alice? A long-lost file is found, an investigation which I thought lost and done in the great crash, and then it appears, in conjunction with the two of only 3 remaining people who could possibly give it credence. Now you report that there was an intrusion at the Warehouse Alliance corporate headquarters matrix front, and that this Cecile girl literally asked for the third person by name. The pale man chuckles slightly, almost maniacally, before slipping into a coughing fit and spilling amber liquid onto his lap. He sets the tumbler down sharply and wipes angrily at his pants. Alice watches him silently, appraisingly. Fortunately, Alice, they have signaled their next move. This should make it easier for you to finally put an end to this. You think they will make a move? You think they will make a move on Warehouse Alliance? Alice asks. Of course. It's obvious. Van Housen is dead. The only remaining link is this shadow scum Ice and his erstwhile partner Rigor Mortis. Keep this Rigor Mortis as bait. Once you have eliminated Ice and Cecile and have the girl's comlink secured, dispatch Rigor Mortis. He grins evilly, showing his perfectly white, straight teeth. Rigor Mortis has served his time. It's time to put him out of his misery and let him live up to his namesake. The camera fades to black as Alice reaches for her own tumbler for the first time in the conversation, a guarded and evaluating look in her eyes. It briefly fades in again on an entirely different scene in a deep forest clearing, where about a dozen or so men and women of various metatypes are digging in the deep, rich loam. At the center of the tableau is a stone, about 3 meters tall and standing upright. Its surface is smooth and dark. Ropes hold it in place as its foundation is dug up, and then it is lowered horizontally. There appears to be a large military-style 6x6 truck in the clearing. As the stone is lowered, it appears that preparations are being made to load the stone onto the truck. Then the camera fades out again. And we're back with our team.
Look, before any of you say anything, okay? Just want you to know that I did my best, even if it wasn't my best work.
It was interesting.
So, is Deandra in her apartment? Cecile knocks on the door, impatiently.
You probably... It takes a second, to be honest. I think you probably hear, like, a couple of swears in Spiritville, like, as Deandra is kind of surprised that someone would knock on her door. And after, like, a few minutes of after, like, a minute of you standing out there, you hear several, deadbolts clicking. And then the door opens to a very...
begins opening, Cecile just barges in with shopping bags.
Oh.
What is she saying?
Deandra is wearing, like, pajamas. Like, button-down, long-sleeve, long pants pajamas, and has the worst bedhead you've ever seen.
Oh good, you're awake. She's,
awake
heading her bags down on the nearest table.
I think Deandra just closes the door and flips a few of the locks, but not all of them. I think DeAndre kind of like looks Cecile up and down like she's confused, like DeAndre is confused for a second, and then she realizes. Um, Give me a second to clean out the second bedroom.
Is
And
the
then-
room Cecile in clean?
Yes. It's not suspiciously clean, but like you can see where things have like. It seems like a lot of like tacks have been stuck into the wall recently and taken down in like a very quick effort, I guess.
Cecile sits down on like a sofa or chair.
DeAndre, like, she goes into this like guest room basically, and then moves out like a comically large number of boxes full of paper, like notes and stuff. I was using it as an office.
Is that real paper?
Yes.
You're a psycho.
I stole a bunch of printer paper from the forest when I left.
Oh my god, it's not even good paper?
No,
Ugh.
it works though. Ugh.
Cecile looks concerned.
What?
She's looking at it the same way you would look at something that could catch fire at any moment.
Do you smoke?
What?
Do you smoke?
No.
Okay. If you need to, you can smoke on the balcony.
The only smoking that will happen is if I blow something up.
Try not to.
I'll do my best.
There's one bathroom. It's not very big. I think it's a very basic apartment. Like, there's a small kitchen off to the side. There's like a living room that has basically nothing but a single couch and a coffee table in it. And against the far wall there's like two doors that go to bedrooms, and in between them is the bathroom.
Is it normally this clean, or should I hire a cleaner?
If you invite someone to come into my house to clean, I will kill them.
So I should pay them a lot.
Or you should just tell me when I should clean up.
So I should pay you.
Well,
Whatever.
my brother bought this place before things, and he left it to me. So I guess it's mine.
Ooh,
okay,
inheritance. Is the room clean?
The room is clean, except for like a box of tacks and some putty on the desk.
No, Cecile was asking.
Oh, define clean.
Will I have to clean it?
I don't think so.
Good. She gets up, grabs her bags, and guesses which door to go through.
It's a very obvious, I think, the one that is open.
Good. She gets it right then. And then she shuts the door. Probably 45 minutes later, comes out in a different outfit with a different hairstyle.
Oh no, DeAndre's gone back to sleep.
Oh, good.
There's like a note on the outside of the door, written on like a sticky note, which is probably wild.
You get sticky notes these days.
I think the first thing it says on it is, "I just have a lot of them, don't ask." And then it says, "Feel free to make yourself something to eat. Can't promise there's much in the fridge, though."
Cecile sits on a couch and immediately messages the group chat. She says, "We're going to have to go to Warehouse Alliance tomorrow in the morning. Plan to break in."
Question mark, question mark, question mark? Clown emoji, question mark? That's Graze.
Oh, I should say this is probably like 8 p.m.
Yeah, her and Boxer have been sitting out, like, hunched over her Boxer's computer, shopping around, talking about things. Boxer may be currently calling someone about something she wants to buy.
Oh, you have a cyber terminal? It's just me.
Pretty sure she does. She has a pretty pricey rig. I don't know.
Alright. But yeah, that's what Cecile sends.
Oh, cyber terminal?
No, Cecile sends...
Yeah.
Cecile sends the message about needing to break in the morning.
Yeah, and Nightingale just responds with question mark, question mark, question mark, clown emoji, question mark.
Cecile doesn't respond to that.
Why break in? Question. What happened? Keep line splitting a lot.
Cecile replies, "We have to break in to get to their records."
Oh. Yeah, it's on the group chat.
Is it a group voice chat or a group text chat?
Text chat.
I think after a while of like you hearing Cecile, after a while of you hearing like notifications go off in DeAndre's room, you hear like a groan and several curses in Spirithel, and she like finally text the group back. Quiet or loud?
Preferably quiet, Cecile texts.
I'm going to need a day to get materials.
I can do breaking and entry, but quiet, I can't do quiet. I can provide overwatch and some degree of reconnaissance. Not much more. That good enough?
I have, let's call it, some experience infiltrating.
I have a lot of experience getting in places people don't want me. Smiley emoji, tree emoji.
Cecile texts back, wow, you are all really spooky.
Be afraid! Vampire emoji, smiley emoji, 1.
So, a couple of questions for the group. Out of character, what are we trying to accomplish?
Well, we want to get rigor mortis out, or at a very minimum, get the information from rigor mortis. Though I imagine Ice would rather prefer getting him out.
We need to know where rigor mortis is first.
Right. So you need to figure out in which particular warehouse alliance facility rigor mortis is being.
Mm-hmm.
So there are probably a couple avenues of approach, right? You could probably ask around any kind of contacts you have, do a matrix search. You could also do some physical surveillance of the various facilities.
Cecile is going to be doing an all-nighter data search.
I think DeAndre would probably say something like, is there a single building that we have to get into?
Cecile replies 2.
2.
We don't know if Rig is in one or other.
I think we're looking for the data.
Cecile responds cryptically, no, we know that he is not in exactly one of them.
But we have no way to get a handle on the data. Correct?
2 plus 2 equals 5, so it's a Cecile. Clown emoji.
Cecile texts back, yes.
So we're going to break into 2 places?
That is correct.
Apparently, we have to.
Preferably we should break in simultaneously, correct?
That is not an option.
Not an option?
No.
But if we break into one place...
The other place is going to be on high alert.
Yes.
Well, if you prefer, Cecile starts, we could always just, each of us, break into our own building.
I
somehow feel like that wouldn't work out well.
There's only 2, though.
There are more than 2, Cecile says.
How many?
You lied? Question mark?
How many facilities do they have?
How many facilities do they have?
They have a facility in each of the major Seattle districts. So you've got the headquarters downtown. You've got Renton, Puyallup, Tacoma, Auburn. So basically Everett. So any of the major districts in Seattle, except for Bellevue and obviously Fort Lewis. There's nothing in Council Island or Outremer or any of those places.
This would probably be an incredibly dangerous suggestion, but should we try?
There's also not one in Redmond. So you've got Puyallup, Snohomish, Auburn, Renton, Everett, Tacoma, and downtown.
Should we try HQ for information?
That was the plan, says Cecile.
Okay.
Unless one of you has a better idea.
I believe that seems reasonable, but
I'm going to need some sleep. And
are they going to have any idea of our objective for entering there?
Probably,
For
Cecile
entering
says.
their location. Oh, okay. Why?
How do they know?
How?
Cecile refuses to elaborate and keeps data searching.
Alright. Alright. Weird lack of
so-
transparency, but okay.
Okay,
Hmm.
so we're going to have to physically get at their records because we can't literally check every building, especially if they know who we're looking for. So, we're going to have to get a clerk or an officer or some kind of leading officer who log into the system with their valid credentials without setting off any alarm and go through the record and give us the record of where rigor mortis is currently being held.
I was just going to
Let's
bribe
see.
someone,
Otherwise-
Cecile says.
You do you.
Meanwhile, Cecile, if I may, Paul, is searching for Warehouse Alliance employees who have pets, addictions, or recent turbulent events in their life.
All right. So you're going through social media mostly is what you'll find.
Or people who
Potentially there may be
are dissatisfied with the company.
Yep. So you're looking at basically job posting boards, places where people talk about stuff like, 6 world equivalents of Reddit's anti-work Reddit,
Yellow
Glassdoor.
anti-
You're looking at social media where, people would be showing pictures or talking about their status, stuff like that.
Probably some public data dumps that hacking groups have done of just like financial data and stuff, cross-referencing them.
Yep. You find a bunch of stuff actually. The vast majority of Warehouse Alliance's actual employees are guards and are fairly underwhelmingly paid. They're sort of the people that you would expect in who'd be working typically like a county jail kind of thing. Not the sharpest or the most ambitious or otherwise interesting. And as you sift through the records, you do of course find the person who's disgruntled here and there, who does nothing but complain about the place, and you find evidence in photographs of people using illicit substances or otherwise taking part in maybe not criminal activity but borderline criminal activities, drug use, whatever.
All right, Cecile,
Okay,
keeping that list in mind.
I have an idea, but we will need a very illegal item.
I was going to suggest that we might want to reach out to Jake and get some of his funny white supremacist buddies. I mean, because cops are like inherently, motions. That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that Jake
Are
might have
you
some...
insane? You want to get a bunch of racists to help an elf, a changeling,
No,
and you're still.
what's rigor mortis's metatype? Do we know?
I don't think you know. You'd have to ask somebody.
I'm gonna message ProCop or Ice.
This doesn't have a comm link.
ICE does not have a comm link.
I'm going
And
to
you
message
don't know where ICE
ProCop.
is.
Hey, ProCop, what rigor mortis metatype? Question mark.
All right. There is no immediate response.
Kind of important. Smile, and then she lets that thread go cold for now.
What time of day did we say this was?
About
again?
8 p.m.
So 20, okay.
A normal
basically-
time of day for people to be asleep.
Yeah. So you actually do get a message back from Procop within about 5 minutes that says human.
Rigor mortis is human. Humanus member officers may have affinity. Shrugging emoji.
I'm not sure I want to involve gang this operation, Cecile says.
And
I don't want to
personally
work with
want to work with
go-go-goes.
White supremacists. Sorry, supremacists. They're kind of ubiquitous to me. In case you haven't noticed, I'm exactly the kind of person that they tend to like to, shoot, burn alive.
This is true. It was just a suggestion.
I appreciate the suggestion. Actually, how on earth are they tolerating you?
Jake tells me that I'm okay because I'm going to go home eventually.
Alright, well, I'm not going to go with you unless you prove your homeland to be exceptionally compelling. So, I'm afraid that we aren't going to be able to cooperate on that front. Nor is Diandere.
Dinda repeats like the exact same way. I'm not working with go-go-goes.
She posts a GIF of like SWAT officers screaming "go go go go" and like busting into a room. The 6-world version of the FBI Open Up Me.
Cecile, as you're doing your all-nighter search, you find an article, an article of investigative journalism that says that sort of is trying to expose the fact that Warehouse Alliance was founded and is owned by former members of Lone Star, disgraced former members of Lone Star who were all members of a vigilante group called the Shadow Riders.
Oh, great.
Ooh.
Cecile goes ahead and sends that to the group
I'll
chat.
connect.
Great, wonderful. See, this is why I'm so because this bullshit happened.
Okay, but I don't really know how we get rigor mortis if they know we're coming for rigor mortis already. That is kind of issue.
They don't know
It doesn't
Uh,
really
We're
matter
coming
what
for
we
rigor
do.
mortis. They just know someone.
They know
is.
someone is.
and they can be pretty certain that somebody is connected to, the one suspect that they have. And if they know we've been in association with you, well, it's not exactly a stretch, is it?
Oh, whoa, Cecile says. What do you mean, they?
Whoever. People know. Let's
The
be
shadow
honest. We've been
racists.
gallivanting around in view of cameras.
Warehouse Alliance probably
We're
has an
conspicuous.
automated alert
Let's be
set up whenever sort of thing happens, right? See no reason that would get out.
So they're obviously not going to have this data on paper. Are we just going to attempt to steal a hard drive, or are we bringing some kind of wireless transmitter in with us?
If we're inside, we can do whatever we want.
Okay.
You know what? I'm gonna call Jake.
Oh no.
I'm going to reach out to Jake, and I'm going to tell the group this. I'm going to tell them that I'm going to ask if Jake can ask any of his buddies about the person. Do we know anything about rigor mortis? How he's being kept? What he looks like? I guess I'd have to. Can I get like a physical, like a picture or a physical description from Prokop?
You text Prokop for that.
Yeah.
Prokop texts you back and says, "What is your location? Let me send ice to you."
And she drops a pin. And then, well, no, she probably wouldn't immediately drop a pin. She'd ask Boxer, if it's okay if Ice comes here, or if they need to go somewhere else other than her like actual apartment.
Not here. We are not bringing him here.
Nightingale nods her head. Where are we going then? Because apparently he's going to have info for us about rigor mortis.
We'll meet up at a cafe, a bar. No, you're not going to a bar. We'll find a cafe.
Hey! And Nightingale promptly like springboards away and goes to the living room to gather up some of her stuff, the pillow fort she set up in there, and she comes trouncing back to get Boxer to go with her, presumably like still like sat down at her computer, half shopping, half like staring at the chat, and very excitedly like tail literally wagging, like, I'm ready!
I'm here. Alright. I don't know, do your magic. I'd rather not be seen with a pony exiting a magic predator exiting my home on camera. Not that there are many here.
And at that, Nightingale promptly pops out of existence. It is kind of kinetic and half so weird, but she's suddenly gone.
All right. So as you guys exit Boxer's apartment in Auburn, Boxer, there's a knight errant cruiser parked across the street from the exit to your house.
She has checked to see, looking to get to us to see whether or not it's Vic's cruiser, which she'd presumably recognize.
Yep, it's Vic's cruiser.
All right, she's gonna head over to it.
All right, he rolls down the window and looks over at you. Make a judge intentions roll.
Can I also do that?
Do I get a bonus for having known
you
him
don't
so
know
long?
Vic.
Oh, in that case, I don't.
Sure.
Okay.
How about 2 extra dice?
Okay, that's 2.
Am I doing a sensing test while she's doing this because he rolled down the window?
Sure.
There you
Okay.
go. 3.
1.
There's a augmented and non-magically active human male sitting in the police car who appears to know Boxer. And Boxer, you get the sense that fairly clearly that there's something troubling Vicente Vic, and that he's conflicted. Normally he would greet you, in a fairly friendly manner.
Hey Vic, what's going on? Are you alright? Something happened?
Well, it's like this, Boxer. There's some scuttlebutt in the force right now that a knight errant training officer is missing, presumed dead, and one of the potential perps matches your description and the description of people with whom you've been associating recently. Tell me there's you didn't kill a knight errant officer.
Do we have discretion? You know what I like to do when I'm talking about anything even related to work.
Well,
I know you have an obligation to your office. You know what I mean. Cameras, anything. I trust you. I trust you to do what you feel is right. And I understand that we have disagreements on certain ideas of what is. Just tell me, do I?
if If I found out that you'd potentially killed a knight errant officer in anything but self-defense, I don't know if our friendship could last.
I didn't kill him.
Okay.
Neither did anyone associated with me, but he did die near me. I'm actually going to assume you want to know about this.
If you can confirm that, obviously...
I have a recording. You know She taps her head.
Okay, does it incriminate you in any way, or any of your associates?
As long as they don't know whose eyes this is coming from, and the people are censored, you can just say it came from an anonymous source, and, well, it's out.
How about this, then? How about you get the file cleaned and then give it to me, and that should help take the heat off of you.
I can do that. Do you want to know what happened?
No, not really.
You don't.
The less I know, the better. Safer for you, safer for me.
Yeah, that's true. Thank you.
All right, well, let me know when you get the file cleaned up.
Yeah, do you want to use an intermediary this time? Yeah.
Might not be a bad idea, actually. There's the heat. It's something interesting. That the heat out on you is not official. The official word from headquarters is that this particular officer was up to something shady or nefarious, and was killed as a result. But unofficially, within the force, there are people who are looking for retribution.
Your higher ups are not all that wrong, but I won't give details.
All right. Well, let's get me the file through an intermediary, and it'll definitely help your case.
All right. I'll get you it shortly.
All right. Good luck. Stay safe, Boxer.
I will. And Vic, once this is all over, and if you want to know, if they don't tell you, hit me up. I trust you.
All right. I'll think about it. I don't think I want to know, but depending on how things go, it might become interesting.
Indeed. I'll see you.
All right. Good luck. He rolls off. All right. So you head to a local cafe in Auburn, and about 10-15 minutes later, a green cab pulls up out front, and you see Ice getting out and looking around for a minute, and before coming in and walking up and sitting down at your table. He's looking quite tired. His eyes are red, and he's looking a bit older today looking more his age today than he had been previously.
Ice, you don't look great.
No, I don't feel great either.
That's the sort of thing that coffee can fix. I'll cover it.
Yeah, that would be great.
Read out his invisible, maybe underneath a table or in the booth, is probably going to, at this point, just kind of whisper that she's thinking they should probably have a conversation over MindNet so that he can actually be engaged, because it's kind of important. She's going to need to be able to touch them both and cast upon them as consenting subjects, I suppose, not targets.
Yeah, you should probably do all the taps or something.
Ice makes a composure test and rolls one success out of 6 dice. So he doesn't quite jump out of the table when he hears your voice, but he's also, at least a Boxer, visibly startled.
I think I'll apologize, still quietly.
And then he just sort of nods and rubs his eyes as he grabs the soy calf that the dwarf waitress brings around, the dwarf server brings around and sets in front of him, and takes a first big gulp. He says, yeah, I don't know, the whole thing's been messing with my head between finding out Rigor Mortis is alive and Van Housen getting killed and spending a night in Terraslar. My head's all screwed on backwards, so I went down a little bit of an unfortunate rabbit hole yesterday, so it might not be the sharpest tool in the shed.
I understand. Boxer to Grace would seem surprisingly empathetic here. Normally she's a bit more aloof, but right now she seems to have very powerful sympathy for him.
So, Prokop said that you guys had a plan.
Slips underneath the table and goes to cast MindNet.
Alright. Just a moment, let the
And she does, contorting herself in such a way that she can touch both of their shin, and there's a little fizz, and they feel electricity go up through their skin, up their spine, to their head, and they feel this strange expansion of their subjective worlds before she clambers back up, and they can very clearly, almost instinctually, now think aloud to others, everyone else in the group.
Ice shivers and sort of gives a little bit of a shake, like, ooh, never get used to that.
Yeah, sorry. I can't really, make it go down easier. This is over my head, of course. The truth of the matter is that we don't really have a well-formed idea yet, and I believe that our hacker has made a bit of a faux pas. The people we're trying to get at, they know that we're looking, well, not that we are, but that someone is looking for rigor mortis.
Hmm.
And I'm
See.
sorry. It'll make retrieving him a lot more difficult. The reason why I really called you here was because I had some, she pauses, I had some concerns, not concerns, I had some questions about rigor mortis. I know he's a human, but I don't know anything else physically about him. I have a friend, question mark, but a friend who might have connections with the security forces that work where rigor mortis is being held, and it might be our best bet to actually figure out where he is before they, I don't know, move him.
Okay. Well, they must have figured it out by now since we took out Van Housen.
Something like that.
He, at that point, you get a sort of a mental image that comes out of through Ice's thought process of a fairly small human male, younger looking than you expected, but then that's probably just because that's the last time Ice saw this person. Fairly physically unimpressive, small, thin, dirty brown hair with a bit of a very thin, straggly goatee and beard, and small, wire-rimmed glasses.
Nightingale is going to scrunch down underneath the table, temporarily drop invisibility, and she's going to, trying hard to not be noticed, pull out a small pad, well, not a small pad, some kind of reasonably sized, like, sketch pad and some kind of writing utensil. And I want to try and sketch down the imagined image she gave me so that I can then use that, as opposed to trying and compiling and probably failing to meaningfully compile a list of physical features, because Nightingale doesn't have an instinctive grasp on metahuman faces.
Okay.
Would you want me to roll for the quality of this, like, sketch thingamabobber?
Do you have... Is that something that you have a skill in?
Let me see. She has an artisan skill, if that counts for anything. I'm not sure if it does.
Sure.
And then I just roll that. Modifiers. I imagine there'd be a modifier because I'm literally working with a kind of a positive.
Yeah. How about 2 extra dice?
I'm gonna go ahead and roll that. 3.
Okay, so you've got 3 hits on that. You feel like you've got a reasonable facsimile of the image that formed in Ice's thoughts as you guys were talking. Probably good enough to for somebody to identify.
And she's just going to show it to him and ask him if that looks reasonable once she's done with it.
He takes it and he looks at it and he says, "Yeah, that's rigor mortis, all right. Might have probably a little bit skinnier than this. I probably remember him bigger than he was actually, because he seemed like he had no trouble fitting into any of the small spaces in the vehicles that he was repairing."
She takes it back and scribbles down some notes in barely legible English, and then pockets it. And she lets the conversation continue.
And at this point, Veronica, as you're continuing your data search, you get a text message from Krillsec.
She texts back immediately after she reads it.
And the text message says, "College girl, I see you're poking out and about. Still alive, I see.
For now. What is it?
I've been following your data search."
Well, then I need to invest in better security.
You get you get a laughing emoji and text back saying, "Good luck."
What is it this time, Krillsec?
I just looked at the reference image of rigor mortis, and he looks like a Vietnam War stoner.
Yeah.
That's my
May have
first
been
thought.
literally the inspiration.
He the only thing that's different wrong with the picture with the token is that rigor mortis had a bit of more of a goatee.
Ah, he was one of those guys.
He's definitely one of those guys. So Krillsec texts you back and says, I might have some pay data if you've got Nuyen.
Is that so? Tell me, what is in this pay data? Does it concern our subject?
If by subject we're talking about WA,
Is it a complete list of their employees and contractors?
no, that would be worthless.
What is it then?
Complete list of the owners.
Oh, that is worth something.
Also some scuttlebutt that I picked up off ShadowNet.
Scuttlebutt?
He texts back, yes, it's an old slang term for gossip.
Well then, what's the going rate?
There's a bit of a pause. There's a long pause, and then he comes back with, uncharacteristically, how about if you owe me one?
What? Oh, someone doesn't want money in my capitalist parody?
Well, nothing's ever free. Money isn't the only form of payment. Information's pretty valuable in Shadowrun. And favors. Cecile is owing a lot of people favors, even though she hasn't quite realized it yet.
I know how this works, Grillsack. How soon am I going to have to pay this back?
Not soon, but when I need it.
That might be enough. I will let you know once I chase down a few things. Cecile's now sending a message
Okay.
to Prokop. She sends the investigative journalism piece and asks, Prokop, what's a list of everyone who works at Warehouse Alliance everyone who founded Warehouse Alliance worth to you?
He texts you back, well, it could pay back the discount on the IDs that I gave you.
Pay back? So little?
I'm sorry, I might have missed something.
Pay back? So little? In such a small sum?
Well, several thousand Nuyen. To me, I mean, to others out in the shadows, it may be worth more.
If you want, I can sell it to them too.
True.
Oh, you let me know. I have to make a decision here. Cecile text back to Krillsec. Were you, she said, to have a list of every contractor that works at Warehouse Alliance, I think we could come to an arrangement.
He texts back, I'll get back to you.
Good. Make it soon or no deal.
Roger that. Although all you really get is a thumbs up.
Cecile just keeps searching.
All right, so let's see. We've got Boxer and Grace and Ice in a cafe. Cecile's at Diander's apartment. And Diander is...
Diander is trying to get some sleep, but probably she's going to wake up and try to get in touch with Brown Dog.
Okay. Voice or text?
Text.
All right. Brown Dog responds to your text virtually instantly.
I think Diandre sends like very direct text messages. I need you to find me someone who I can purchase something illegal from.
What kind of thing, generally speaking?
I need a keycard copier.
What is Brown Dog's connection?
2.
Where is he in your contacts? I don't even see him in your
He's
contacts.
the first contact on my contacts list. At least on Roll20.
Oh.
I don't know if I put him on my chummer. Let's see. Yeah, he's not my chummer.
Okay, so what was his connection to?
2.
And his loyalty?
1, but I have a favor from him.
You can bump his loyalty up to 2.
Okay.
Because he's mad impressed that you are now working with Prokop Skillful, and he wants to get in on that action. All right, so why don't we roll his connection, his loyalty and connection, see what he can do.
Should I roll that, or do you want to?
You can roll it.
So it's just loyalty plus connection. That's it.
Yep.
Okay. Not very good.
He texts back, that's going to be a bit of a challenge. Give me 2 hours.
DeAndre responds in like a short affirmative in Spirithil, and then gets up after like 4 hours of sleep and starts making food.
All right, so back to Grace and Boxer. What are you guys up to?
I got the information that I wanted out of the ice, so Boxer can do
With ice? Not really anything.
nothing.
Nothing.
Okay. Well, I need to reach out to Jake.
But you do that, and then, how good are you with your weapons? I know you have some.
Is this at Boxer or at Grace or at Ice?
Oh, Grace. Absolutely Grace. She knows that ice is coming. She assumed.
Nightingale knows how to operate a pew pew, and she has a.
Well, she's asking her.
Yeah, she would say as much. Like I can use a pew pew just fine. I'm not like a crack shot, of course. It's kind of hard, honestly.
Well, I suppose I won't be able to give you all the tips that would help. The human are very different. Oh well.
I mean, we could talk about it. Perhaps later tonight. I wanted to talk. Get help with it anyway.
Perfect. In that case, I'll get you down to the range.
We have to wait for another time. What with the deadline of tomorrow?
Fair enough.
I'm going to cut the mine net now and go step outside. How did we get here?
Probably
Did we
grid
take
guide.
a grid guide?
Unless she managed to get herself on Boxer's motorcycle.
No. Nightingale is going to go find an alley to temporarily squirrel away in. Invisible, maybe even levitate up to some higher place where a metahuman wouldn't be able to get to her, checking for cameras and whatnot before she drops her spells and goes to go text Jake. Her leading message would be, "Hi Jake, this is Horsey. I know it's been a little while. I kind of need some help with something. Do you happen?" And then she'll pause and line break and ask, "Do you happen to know any guys that work security at?" And she lists off the name of the company.
All right. You get a couple of minutes later, you get a text back, and he says, "Well, let me ask around." And you can make a test as well. Now that I've looked up the rules, this is actually going to be a charisma plus connection extended test with an interval of an hour. So
how exactly do I roll that? A charisma plus his connection?
Right.
I thought connection was opposed to loyalty.
Well, there's one test to see whether they actually get back to you, but a lot of this is really sort of more GM discretion.
So, my charisma plus his connection, so that's 4.
You can also use any knowledge skill that you think would be more appropriate than potentially charisma.
Any knowledge skill that I think would be more appropriate? I don't have any. I just rolled it. That's unfortunate.
Okay, so you got 2 hits. So in the first hour, he doesn't get back to you. However, Cecile Krillsek gets back to you as you're continuing to sift through the various social media type posts from these people, trying to find any avenue of where that'll let you in. And Krillsek gets back to you and he says, "Yeah, I think I've got something for you."
Oh, and what's that?
Well, like I said, I've got the list of owners, and I've got a list of what they call contracts, current contracts. It's not as extensive as I thought it was going to be.
It's unfortunate. You happen to have a list of guards and their schedules, or am I going to have to source that myself?
Well, that would require probably somebody getting into their system, so I'd have to find somebody to do that. Or, I mean, you could do it yourself.
That's fine, Krillsek. I'll consider this a deal, but I'm not happy about it. Out of curiosity, how much would it cost to get this information if were I paying?
Well, I'd probably charge you about $2,000 for it.
$2,000, huh?
It's not that interesting. WA is more of a small player. They play in Seattle. The one thing I should warn you about, college girl, they do have. Well, actually, if I give this to you, consider it's a freebie. you don't owe me for it, but you should know that as I've been poking around a little bit for them, and you'd probably find this too, they do have some, there's a, like I told you, what I was going to get you is a little bit of scuttlebutt on them. There's some talk in ShadowNet that while they are a legitimate business and legitimately do warehouse and transshipment within the greater Seattle area, it's also potentially a front for some other smuggling operations that are connected to Yakuza.
That's unfortunate.
But it might be interesting to you because it all happens through a specific warehouse in Puyallup.
It's good to know. Thanks for a sec. Oh,
Anyways,
thought I pass you $2,000. Get out of that favor, huh?
I don't really need the money right now, college girl.
Wow. I see how it is, Krillsack.
I'd much rather have a favor.
You're going to take advantage of my position?
Naturally.
Well, good on you. Call it a deal.
You get 2 files through the Matrix. And one of them is a list of the current contracts, and one of them is a charter document.
Before I actually seal the deal out of character, did make sure that includes locations, right?
For the contracts.
Okay.
Yes.
Cecile will firstly look at the list of founders.
So the charter document is basically the document that chartered the Warehouse Alliance Corporation, and you see on it the name of Jim Ansel, which you remember was George Van Housen's alias, and another name which you recognize immediately. And I imagine you would like to know that name.
Indeed.
The name is Kirill Petrov, otherwise known as the Dean of Evo's Washington University facility.
Oh, shit.
The one whose office you were in when you met Alice DeVry.
Well, that is interesting. All right.
The other names are not familiar to you. There are 7 total names, so you know 2 of the 7.
All right. Now, for the contractor list, obviously, could I take a look to see where Rigor Mortis is?
Yes, so the list is organized by name, and it's organized by location. Basically, think of it as a big Excel spreadsheet with a bunch of columns that are different data. Rigor Mortis is not a name on this list. However, you're fairly certain that Rigor Mortis was a shadow name, and all of the names on the list appear to be given names.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
However, actually, give me a logic plus intuition.
Logic plus intuition?
Sure. Which is isn't that a memory? Isn't that just a straight memory test?
Maybe.
Or is that's intuition plus willpower, I think. No, but go logic plus intuition.
Logic plus intuition. I think that'll do it correctly.
One column catches your eye. It's a date of acquisition for the contract, and you filter it by age. And there is one contract that is 20 years old. None of the other contracts are even close.
That idea.
And the location is Puyallup. And the name associated with it is Matthew Vashon.
I'm just gonna... Alright. Seal text the group chat. What time is it, by the way, in-game?
You're running around 10 p.m. at this point.
Alright. Cecile text the group chat.
And...
Puyallup.
Yeah, go do that, and then
That's it.
Boxer... No, not Boxer. Deandir, make another test for Brown Dog.
Sure. Another one.
Still nothing from Brown Dog.
Okay.
And Grace, make a test for... What was his name again?
Jake.
Jake.
Okay, I'm going to do that. So you said it was my charisma plus his connection.
Yep.
3.
Nice. So at that point, Jake texts you back and says, "Yeah, I got a couple of boys who work for them."
With the text that presumably just recently came in from well, she would have whenever the text from Cecile came in, she would have said specifically at the how do you spell it? How do you say it?
Puyallup.
Loop location.
Is that what you text back to Jake?
Yeah.
You know what? What's your edge?
I literally have one edge.
You have one edge. And all right, roll. Let's just say twice your edge, so 2 dice.
Okay.
See how lucky you are today. Fingers crossed.
Not very
You get
lucky.
a text back, frowny face. No, afraid not. They're in Tacoma.
Would it be worth it to edge that?
Use your edge to use your
The
edge.
text back.
Yeah.
They might know somebody in Puyallup.
If they do, anything will help. I'm looking for one person in particular.
Ah, interesting.
Yeah, and I wanna. We know where they are now. I just want to make sure that they aren't moved.
I'll get back to you.
Okay. Thank you. Smiley face. Tree emoji.
Paw.
Miss Magnumfoot started that tree emoji thing and it stuck.
So now that I know
All the
where
way.
this Mr. What was his last name? Vashon is. Wait a minute. Vashon? Like Vashon?
VACHON.
Okay. I cross-reference that with a list of disgruntled or otherwise exploitable employees to see which have been around that area, presumably for work. Just other activities like, ours.
You don't get, let's see, you don't get disgruntled employees from that area. As a matter of fact, when you look at sort of like the social network type stuff and the Glassdoor type of agency type stuff, what you actually pick up on is that there is almost like a blackout on the Puyallup location. Like you get social media posts from people at other places, you get Glassdoor, ratings from other places, but like Puyallup one, it's like there's been a blackout on it. Like somebody's keeping the matrix clean of references to the Puyallup location.
Okay, that makes sense. Cecile texts the group chat. Problems. 1. Puyallup was the one that was the Yakuza front, wasn't it?
Yes.
Problem 1. The place where Mr. Matthew Vachon is held is a Yakuza front. Problem 2. I'm reasonably certain they have Yakuza members as the guards for that facility.
I may know someone who could be of help in that regard.
Well, then do reach out.
Yaks aren't my strong suit.
Good Lord, Boxer's got a lot of skills.
Yeah, I got a lot of them for roleplay reasons. In retrospect, it occurs to me that maybe I shouldn't have.
Okay, Skill Monkey.
Hey,
It's like a
I am a skill
2-page
cat.
character printout just for skills.
And then the guns, and then the other equipment, and then the contacts, and then, yeah, I think you get the point.
Are you reaching out to Arashi Shinkawa?
Yes.
And who is Arashi Shinkawa?
He's a gamer friend. He's with the... I wrote out a whole thing. You know that, like, that big thingy of people...
Is it
people
in your
of
Chummer?
interest?
Is it on your Chummer file?
No, it's in the Discord.
Oh, okay.
Persons of interest.
Okay. You're reaching out by text or are you voice calling?
Text.
How like amateur gun collector followed by unable to handle a firearm.
God, I even put that in.
All right. Connection loyalty 3. Make a loyalty plus charisma test, please.
All right.
Probably gonna jinx this here, but I feel like we're actually getting better at some of this stuff.
Oh my gosh. No, stop. I'm not going to be able to find it now. Loyalty. All right.
Loyalty plus charisma. He's got a loyalty of 3.
I guess I'll just roll the die, huh? Loyalty plus, because there's no handy button for me to press.
If you turn on modifiers at the top of your sheet, you can click on your charisma and then just add the extra dice. That's one way to do it.
So it's just charisma plus what?
Plus 3.
Okay, yeah. I'm just going to roll 6 die. 1 hit.
All right. After a couple of minutes, he texts you back. What's up, Boxer? In the middle of a game right now. Are you going to join us?
No can do. That's something for later. I'm, you know that stuff you always want to hear about?
Yeah.
I'm actually getting ready for some of that. And, well, you might get to be involved in a way. How's that for exciting?
What? No Drek? Really?
No, Drek. I just need to know a little bit about the axe,
Ah,
Your
okay.
boys.
There's sort of a pause, and then he's like, okay, let's,
It's nothing bad, nothing sensitive. I just need to know who's working at a certain place.
oh, why? You're not going to kill them, are you?
We want one of the prisoners in there, and we figured that we might be able to offer some of them opportunities for audition. Everyone win, including you.
You mean like a prison break?
Just one guy, but yeah, like in a movie, or what do you call it? Like in a shit. I don't know.
Okay, well, what's the location of this prison?
Where is it again?
Puyallup?
Do we have a more precise location than that?
Yes, you do.
It's in a precise location, like address or whatever. Puyallup.
There's a longer pause. Several minutes go by, and then you get another text back. Just a question mark, and then that's not a prison. That's a warehouse or something.
They keep prisoners in there as labor.
Oh, yeah, right. It's one of those places.
Yeah, one of those. They got one of our friends in there, and we'd rather get him out. If you understand what I mean.
Okay, well, as far as I know, none of my connections work in that area.
Alright.
Yeah, sorry, Boxer. I'm coming up blank on that one.
Oh, good. If you can figure out something about it, I might be able to hook you up with a decent piece.
Oh yeah, definitely. I'll ask around.
Yeah, sure. Also, I'll catch you on that Operation Wednesday.
Oh, you mean our standard game?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Hell yeah. See you then.
Heck yeah.
Gamer boy. And yeah. Fucking gamers. They're gamers.
All right, so it sounds like you guys have a location. You have names, and you know that there's potentially some off books or illegal activity happening at this location. You know that, I mean, you've been told this previously that Warehouse Alliance is associated with the Shadow Riders, but you've got it confirmed.
Oh, can I check one last thing? Is there a specific node for the Puyallup location?
Yes.
Deciding whether or not to hack.
I feel like they're going to be ready for you.
What was that, Liz?
Like I said, I feel like they're going to be expecting you.
Probably.
And I don't really know how the whole cyberspace thing works, but I imagine it's a lot like physical security in that they can raise defenses.
Indeed they can. So there is a distinct node for the Puyallup location.
Yes.
Well, I'll just keep that in mind for now.
You roll your charisma plus Krillsek's loyalty. Please.
Okay, so that'll be 5d6 to roll. And I got 2.
2 hits. You get another text from Krillsek, which has a gif of a creepy grinning dwarf on it. And then you get another follow-up text says, "You want more pay data?"
Depends on the pay data.
I have blueprints.
Do you now? What, pray tell, do these blueprints cost me?
How about another favor?
How about pay you back at some point?
In kind?
What are you looking for?
Pay data. Pay data for pay data. How's that sound?
Sounds good to me. Although, you maybe could do me
All right.
an extra favor. I might need you to disseminate information this time instead.
Ah, interesting. You have my attention.
That list you gave me of the founders? Well,
Yes?
one of them happens to have made me rather cross, so I may decide to spread some information about this dean of the EVO program at the University of Washington, and their connections to the Yakuza.
Ooh, careful, college girl. You're gonna make bad enemies. Oh, wait. Too late.
Indeed. What more can they do? Try to kill me thrice?
Yes.
Well, they can trap you in the shadows.
Woe is me. I'll let you know, Krillsek.
So, do you want the file or not?
Sure, and I'll pass along any juicy pay data
It's a deal.
after that.
And you get a quick blip on your... You get a blip, and there's a couple of files on it.
Now, I know this is Puyallup, so it's kind of run down. Can I try to find a security camera that looks at the facility?
You can definitely try to
That'd
find
be a
one,
data
yes.
search test.
Is that a data search test?
It wouldn't be hidden.
Yeah.
Unless they're secret cameras.
No, I'm just thinking it's not really data, but it's, I guess, the existence of the camera would be data, but then you'd have to find its location of its server. Sure. Call it a data test.
Alright.
Data search.
Great. Does that say agility?
It does.
He's coding so fast.
Oh, that was
That's a
yeah,
skill,
that didn't
right?
work. Right, hold on.
You have agility
Yes,
in it
yes,
as your
yes.
attribute.
Okay, that's sheet error. Hold on. Ignore that roll. It's better. And I got fewer hits. Oh well. 2 hits.
Okay. So you've got, let's just call it 5
Sure.
hits, because it is an extended test, right? So yeah, you find some cameras in that area, and they are looking at the facility.
I see any guards patrolling.
You see what looks like a conglomeration of several large buildings. One of them is very obviously some type of warehouse with a loading dock and trucks pulling in and out of it. There is a employee, what can only be an employee parking lot. There's a fence around the whole thing, and the gates that lead in and out to the loading dock have guard shacks next to them.
Okay.
You don't see doesn't look like there's anybody patrolling the there's the warehouse building, and then there's what looks like some kind of a administrative building. It has a sign on it that says Warehouse Alliance, and it's where you see the sign that says employee parking, and then you see another larger building that doesn't have any windows in it, which seems odd to you. And I'm going to, let's see, on the map, let's see if I have a map of this. No. So what I want to show you guys is a picture that you're seeing. Let me to find the picture. There it is. Is it going to fit in Discord?
Well, I can see the blueprints.
Oh yeah. So you've got the blueprints in Roll20. So I can show those to the rest of the team. Can the rest of the team see the blueprints?
Seal sends it to the group chat anyway.
So the building, what you're seeing on the blueprints is apparently the building that doesn't have that you're seeing without windows. And looking at the blueprints, can everybody see the blueprints at this point?
Oh wow, hi. Yeah, I can see Puyallup level.
Which should say level 1.
Is it the thing with all the gray?
Looks like an IR image.
Maybe it is with boxers
Yeah.
and drone.
Oh my.
So you see that you guys get a text message with an attached file from Cecile, and it has what appear to be some blueprints of the prison where you suspect that rigor mortis is being held, the level 1 and the level 2 of the prison. Then if you guys look in the Discord chat, in the general text chat, there is sort of a top view of the facility. In the lower right area, this square roof, that would be the prison roof, and then the long roof is the warehouse, and then the lighter colored roof in the upper left corner, that would be the administrative building that I talked about with the employee parking and such. And then the 2 little squares down below, those would be the guard shacks. And then in the upper right-hand corner, that looks like there's another gate there going to one end of the warehouse with 2 more guard shacks. And then that sort of rectangle, that vertical upright rectangle in the lower right, looks like it's some kind of a courtyard or yard area for the prisoners potentially.
If I ask, how many cars are in the employee parking lot?
It looks like probably about well, actually, it's nighttime. It looks like about roughly a dozen cars
at nighttime.
and bikes.
I read the tags.
You can, yes.
I search those tags and see to whom they're registered.
Okay, you are able to find the owners of those vehicles relatively easily.
All right, I'll make a list. Can I find out anything about those people, or is it all hush hush?
No, you do find some things out about those people. Their social media is pretty innocuous. Most of them live in the Puyallup area. They look like your average Puyallup working class, pretty rough and tumble, probably grateful to have a job in Puyallup like this. Nothing that immediately stands out. I would say they're probably, very rednecky. Yeah, riffraff who have a job and, probably enjoy the authority and power of being guards at a
Okay.
prison.
Do none of them have tattoos or anything?
No,
No recognizable
you would say,
tattoos. It is Shadowrun.
no, you're not seeing any of it. Doesn't seem like they're predominantly Japanese or otherwise Oriental. It's a fairly mixed bag, but about 90% human. So very low representation of other meta types.
Update. Guards probably not Yakuza. Looks like general trash.
Yeah, they've got they've got pictures of family and kids, parties and stuff like that. Cars, pictures of their cars, and just sort of the usual. Nothing that stands out aside from the fact that they are mostly human and virtually all male.
With that, Cecile gets up from Cold Sim VR and goes to bed.
I had some small questions about the map, I guess. Is there roof access in the prison or not?
So as you look at let's see, can you click on the map in the Discord?
Yes.
Okay, so there is a visible roof access. Can you guys see the map now?
Yes.
Okay, so you see down here right here is the entrance to the administrative building. There's roof access right here from the loading dock. And then back here behind the fence, there's another ladder that goes up onto the warehouse. There are security cameras all around. Basically, every time you see this little sort of symbol here, that's a security camera. Oops.
I'm going to ask a really stupid. Do the blueprints say how large?
What's that?
How
large the vents are for AC? Because I see there's an exhaust vent
You know what you're thinking.
on the roof, at least on that.
Yeah. So I think each of these squares here is 5 meters.
They're 5 feet or 1 meter ish.
Yeah, I need to save.
Or the big squares.
Okay, so the little square. Do you see the little squares now? I've turned off Roll20 squares.
Yes, I do see little squares.
So each of the little squares is about 5 meters.
Okay. So this exhaust vent here is a fairly large exhaust vent than this one.
Yes, and actually, that's a vent, and this little guy right here looks like it's a hatch.
That's exactly what I wanted.
So there looks like there's roof access or into the building access through a hatch right.
Okay. What's the distance from the next building to the south of the prison to the prison? And are they of similar heights?
They're similar heights, similar style building. It's sort of an industrial area of Puyallup.
Okay. So is the distance 10 meters, or how long is it?
It's about 10 meters.
Okay. I have a plan. It is stupid.
Are you going to share that plan with the group, or are you just going to?
Yes, I would like to share the plan with the group. I would like to attempt to infiltrate the prison. I cannot promise exfiltration, but I would like to attempt infiltration.
Seal says, "Yeah,
Yes.
That's the plan."
As in covert
That's the
infiltration. I have a tool called a Victorinox rope. It can go solid. I just need to use my grapnel to span the length between the building and its neighbor and get onto the roof. And then I can make a mess inside or try to get out our friend. And if I make too much noise, you guys can rush in because it looks like the prison level is on the ground.
So that's the. Actually, no. Let's do this. Let's take a quick look at the blueprints. So this right here. Do you guys see the blueprint? This is the second level of that part of the building.
Mm-hmm. And if they match up, it looks like the hatch exits directly into the cell block. The hatch enters into the cell block, but like in the middle of the ceiling.
Yeah. Yep.
Before you try to do that, it might be a good idea for me to try and do astral reconnaissance at least.
And of course, I have a drone.
Yeah, that too.
I feel like they'll detect astral recon.
I'm very sneaky, I'll have you know.
Also, DeAndre knows nothing about astral, the astral side of it.
I get the idea that everybody looks at Deandra and is they just automatically figuring, just assuming that she knows everything about astral.
Nah.
She's an
Will
elf.
does not assume this.
Oh, absolutely.
Deandra's an extremely elfy-looking elf, so obviously she knows everything about magic and astral.
Knowing where it is, I think I would want to jaunt over there through the astral and give it a look-see to see if they have like any kind of astral security.
Do you have astral navigation or knowledge
I have
of Seattle?
sense of direction, meaning that I also have knowledge of Seattle. I have sense of direction and knowledge of Seattle.
Okay.
I can always backtrack and
Never
I know
forget
Seattle
where you left your
reasonably well.
shoes.
Yeah, it's very important. But Boxer can like keep my
So I will
shoes.
say that you have levitated up onto a little niche of the building where the cafe was to make your calls.
Yeah.
And after you're done talking to Jake, you realize that there is a watcher spirit that is watching you. Sort of a little fuzzy ball of astral energy with sort of a grinning, goofy face.
Do I recognize it?
No. You
I
realize that it
smile.
must have appeared as you floated up and landed on this little ledge. You smile
smile.
at it and it smiles back to you and just it's sort of bouncing around in the air, doing nothing other than that.
I give it a astral hello in the way that sound can propagate through the astral, and then ask it, what's it doing? Watching.
It just sort of repeats that when you say watching. It says,
Are you watching for someone?
I'm watching for anyone who is going to do anything harmful to the building.
Oh,
you get the sense that when it said that, it was like, had to like really think hard to even put that sentence together.
Oh, I'm not gonna do anything harmful to the building. She uses an exact strange syntax when she explains that, and she tries to be very genuine when she says that. I'm just here to make some calls. I'm actually going to be going like soon.
Okay,
Watching. And she gives it like the equivalent of an astral thumbs up and gives it a little like wave before she promptly levitates back down off of her little ledge and goes invisible.
It does a little loop-de-loop and follows you down.
She's gonna go ahead and text Boxer and tell her that she thinks they should probably go ahead and leave and get some sleep and otherwise prepare for the day ahead.
Yeah, that seems pertinent. Let's go. You can crash at my place, as always.
Before leaving, Nightingale's gonna like linger at the end of the alleyway and look back at the Watcher spirit. You think it would be reasonable to say that she can like conjure up like sensory experiences for like astral beings to just kind of nom on a lot more easily than physical ones?
What kind of experience?
I basically just want to give it like a magic treat and then just walk off.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, I want to give it an astral treat.
Sort of
Just
like
conjure it
patting
up.
a puppy dog's head, you know.
Yeah, basically, except magical and strange.
What does the magical and strange look like?
I'm imagining it's like just concentrated, soft, and cute, and like warm, but like warm in the like psychological sense. And she just gives it like a little pat.
Yeah, it continues to smile and watch, and it starts to glow up, and then it sort of goes loop-de-looping back up into the air over the building and starts whirling around it.
See you around. Watching.
Watching, watching, watching.
And Ice is looking at Boxer, saying, "Hey, could you help me a green cab, please? I still don't have a comlink."
Oh, green cap. Alright, sure. And she does.
Thanks.
She doesn't even take our. She just has one in her.
Pick me up at Samovar when you guys are ready to go. He hasn't been clued into any of this, so he hasn't seen any of the blueprints or video feeds or anything.
I still have to talk to Brown Dog if he's still around.
Yeah, actually, we forgot about that. We probably want to make another test with your charisma and his connection.
Wait, modifiers. Charisma plus connection.
Jeez.
It would have been very funny if
Damn.
we could have gotten the white supremacists to attack the building. Just saying.
So you got
I'm
one
gonna-
hit there. You got one hit before. So you've got a total of 3 hits at this point. Since we're going to call this an extended test. So Cecile has gone to bed, and you're getting ready to go to bed too, I imagine, when you get a text from Brown Dog, and he texts, "Might have found what you're looking for. Can you meet me in an hour?"
Yes.
He says, "Okay, good. Meet me in Auburn," and he shoots you a location.
Is the
Cool.
location far
Not
close enough to walk for me, or is it too far?
It's too far.
Okay. Bike time.
All right, you get on your bike. The streets of Auburn at night, Auburn is an industrial working class area. Auburn never sleeps, but not in the way that the fancy downtown areas never sleep. It never sleeps in the way that, people are working 24/7. So the streets are busy. There are street vendors and food vendors, and, just because the sun goes down doesn't mean that anything changes on the streets of Auburn. You get to a what seems to be the parking lot behind an old stuffer shack, and you see Brown Dog and his Harley, his big Harley, sitting there, and he's leaning against it, smoking a cigarette with his usual sort of fake tribal wear.
I think DeAndre rolls up, not right next to him, but close, and is like, "Put that out."
Oh, yeah, of course. He looks around for a second, then just drops it and steps on it. I'm sorry, I forgot you didn't like that. So, look, Dander, how are things going with that with Procop?
They're going apace, I'd say. Looks like we have another job for. I'm trying to get a hold of this for let's call it ease of access.
Oh, that's great. If you can ever just sort of get me in a room with him, I'd really appreciate that.
I'll do my best.
Hooked you up.
I won't.
All right. Well, I don't have the thing myself. I'm waiting for my my contact to show up.
Mhm.
They were supposed to be here a couple minutes ago.
What is it with these Seattle norms and punctuality?
Are you saying that out loud?
Yes.
He chuckles nervously. Yeah, these Seattle norms, them and their punctuality. He's looking a little
Oh my
flustered. He's obviously quite impressed personally with Diandere, but also really trying to make a good impression with her, because he feels like she's moving up in the world, and he's hoping to sort of ride those coattails.
You know something funny that happened to me recently, Brown Dog?
No, what was that?
Apparently, I have a fan club.
He chuckles.
It's
That's whiz.
I think it's mostly posers,
Ah,
and I'm not very happy about that.
normies.
But as long
You
as
said,
they
right?
aren't following around too tight, I mean, let them do what they want.
You want
But
me
not
to,
have no one get themselves killed.
You want me to check it out for you?
If you want to.
Of course. Anything from my runners. You know that.
Nice.
At that point, you see a GMC Bulldog van, blacked out. The windows are tinted. circles around and starts rolling up into the parking lot with you guys, and stops a little ways away from you, and the side door slides open, and 2 orcs get out, and then a dwarf gets out of the driver's side, and they start walking towards you.
I think Diandere gets off her bike and walks towards them as well.
Oh yeah, this must be them, says Brown Dog. These guys run some deep shadow equipment all over the place, so they probably have what we need.
That'll be good. If there are any more operations, I might have to ask them for something else.
They roll up, and the dwarf steps in front of the 2 orcs, who are actually make a perception check, Diandere.
No modifiers?
Nope, just straight perception. What?
Again.
You're rolling terrible tonight.
Yep.
1 hit. Yeah, the 2 orcs look like obvious muscle. The dwarf looks, he's got sort of your run-of-the-mill streetwear. He's wearing some kind of AR goggles and big, bushy, thick red beard that's been brushed out straight. He's wearing a long black trench coat with the collars pulled up, and he rolls up to Brown Dog. He looks up at Diandere, he looks up at Brown Dog and says, "Hoy, Brown Dog, long time no see. What can I do for you?" And Brown Dog sort of nervously looks between Diandere and the dwarf and says, "Yeah, Zeke, this is one of my runners, Diandere. She's looking for, what was it you were looking for again, Diandere?"
Well, the primary thing I'm looking for is, let's see, what's it called? A keycard copier. And if you can get it for me, perhaps some things that are a little more specific.
Keycard copier, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's not something you just find lying around on the street.
Indeed.
Well, you see his AR flick up, and he says, "Give me a sec." And he's distracted. The 2 orcs are they're keeping an eye out. They're looking around. Their heads are on a swivel. And after about 10, 20 seconds of looking in AR, he snaps back. The dwarf snaps back out of it, looks at you, says, "Yeah, you're in luck. I think I know somebody who can get you one. Might not be the best, but it's available."
Well, I guess my options are limited because I need it pretty quickly.
What book is that in?
The keycard skimmer the keycard copier is in the main book, actually. It's in the Breaking and Entering Devices on page 235 or 335. Keycard copier on the top right. It's 8F on its rating.
All right. So the dwarf looks at you and he says, "Only trouble is I don't have it with me. We'd have to go meet with the guys who've got it."
Well, I have some other inquiries. Did you hear that? Or did I cut out in the middle of that?
No, I heard that. He's just looking at you, expecting...
I'd like some thermal dampening. Well, maybe some of those keycard skimmers I've heard something about.
Keycard skimmers. Yeah, well, that sort of tracks, doesn't it?
Yep.
What was the thing with the thermal damping again?
Thermal dampening for my camouflage suit. And I kind of pull a bag out of my sidecar.
The thermal damping I can get you that by tomorrow. Keycard skimmer, if you want me to pick up the keycard skimmer and the keycard copier...
What's a skimmer?
The skimmer is in Spy Games on 149. They're like membranes that attach to card readers that pick up the keycards, and then the reader for those just picks it up off of the membrane.
They actually exist in the real world.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that just the same as a copier?
Well, the copier is like the device that you use to get the key card, like if you have the physical copy. While the skimmers, you like put on a reader and they read it off of the person putting their card through.
Yeah, the skimmer is what you have nowadays, like when you get your card stolen at like a gas station or something like that.
That is
actually, I guess
super cool.
both of them are.
Yep.
Okay, so keycard skimmer. There are 2 parts to this device: the card skimmer, which
the
is
strips
the
and the
membrane.
reader.
Yep, and then the reader. He looks at you. He says, "I can get you both of them. I can get you the whole lot by tomorrow. Give me about 24 hours. let's see. Call it for the skimmer and the reader. Call it about 4,500 nuyen.
Sounds about right.
I'll have to get back to you on the thermal damping. I've got the equipment, but I need to check on what that cost me before I give it to you.
And the keycard copier?
Yeah, the 4,500 was for the copier and the.
Okay. How about I give you 5K now and my suit, and you come back to me with the rest I owe and my.
Yeah, sure, it's a deal.
Okay. I guess I just put 5K on
I guess you can give him a cred stick, or yeah, I guess you could slot a cred stick. He could probably just take it right there.
Yeah.
We'll hand wave it.
And then I just hand him my bag with my camouflage suit in it.
He says, he says, here's my, he drops you a pin in AR. Oh, you're not even in AR, are you?
Nope.
You're doing this all old school.
I'm a meat space person.
He drops a pin. You hear a ping off of your comlink, and do you take a look at it?
I kind of pull my comm out and take a peek.
He says, I dropped you my comm code, so I'll get in touch with you tomorrow, probably no more than 24 hours when I've got the stuff done, and we'll set up a meeting.
Sounds good. I guess
All
I'll...
What was your name again?
I'm Dean Dare, or at least that's what people call me.
All right.
It's somewhat of a joke, you see.
I don't see, no.
Oh. Well,
Is
Dean
it
Dare...
Elvish thing?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, I got you.
Dean Dare in Spirithill means old woman.
He chuckles. Yeah. Old woman indeed.
Yes. Well, I've got to go back to doing my old woman thing. You know, knitting, riding a motorcycle.
I'll be in
So-
touch tomorrow. He nods to Brown Dog, and the three of them turn around and head back to the Bulldog, to the step fan. Brown
Sounds
Dog
good.
looks at you and says, all right, that went smooth.
Yes, indeed.
Well, if there's nothing else, keep me in mind. Remember your old chummer who got you hooked up with the with Procop.
I won't.
See you around, Dean Deer.
See you around. I think Dean Dare probably sits on her bike the rest of the leave. And then she picks up the cigarette off the ground.
Yeah, the van leaves and Brown Dog leaves, and you pick up the cigarette.
And walk it to one of the trash cans in this parking deck or whatever.
Yeah,
I doubt
it's
they're
behind the
cleaned,
stuffer
but
shack. There's
yeah.
a dumpster behind the stuffer shack you can flick it into.
Yep.
Dang, normies.
If Brown Dog keeps littering, I'm gonna kill him.
Oh no. Brown Dog gets killed for throwing a cigarette butt on the ground.
Rest in pieces.
Rip, Brown Dog.
Here he was, hoping that you're the ticket to the big leagues, and instead you're the thing that kills him.
Oh my god. Can imagine
It would be
how-
funny, like, our next meeting, Brown Dog does the same thing, and I just walk up choking.
He
Casually
would probably
started
learn
this.
the lesson.
Yeah,
Alright.
I want to do that sometimes too.
I think I'm done for now, at least, with my illegal purchases.
Are we going to try and hit Warehouse Alliance tonight?
I'd like to wait on my gear, and then...
Well, I mean tonight, as in out of character.
Oh yeah, out of character tonight, I'm
I
down
feel
for
like we
going
could at least
until
get
then.
there and deal with getting in the building, since I feel like
Okay.
everything else will be a full session.
All right, so new day dawns. What's happening?
I mean, let's see. Can we wait for me to get my things? Or I guess I text the group. I purchased some items that might make our infiltration easier, but we have to wait on them day or
Seal
so.
says, I'm not sure we should wait a day.
She's right. I don't imagine we have all that much time.
How about
It's just
12 hours?
We could hit it in the evening, I guess.
Actually, most people don't realize this, but the best time to hit is in the middle of the shift. Nobody expects anything in the middle of their shift.
Like,
Everyone expects an ambush in the morning or
Wait.
at night.
What time is this? Can Cecile even respond?
Well, as far as I remember, Deer and Boxer are both
Cecile's
very
gonna
early
get up
risers.
at least 5 a.m.
I'm pretty sure everyone's an early riser.
I'm sorry. I didn't get either of what you said, or what either of you
Cecile's
said.
awake by at least 5 a.m.
I think today Cecile and Dee and Derek wake up at almost the exact time and, like, run into each other on the way to the bathroom.
I just imagine that being a very tense moment.
I do too, because I imagine Dinder's probably forgotten that Cecile's there.
Cecile is
at this
very
time of
possessive
day.
over her morning routine and getting it done.
Deander probably wakes up, puts her sword on, and then goes to
I'm so glad we have so much autistic representation in this game. It makes me happy.
Cecile relents and lets Deandra use the restroom. Then everything else happens.
Yes. But Deander doesn't take long, so
In the morning, no specific time, the cars that are in the employee parking lot.
Okay. It's about the same quantity of vehicles, mix of motorcycles and cars. There are several trucks that are pulled up to the dock that are being loaded or offloaded by what appear to be either robotic or rigger guided
Hmm. Does it
forklifts.
look like a different shift?
It does. There's a different set of cars
Alright,
out front.
I'm gonna go ahead and have Cecile search all of them and just keep that in mind for now.
Okay. Yeah, it's very much the same sort of mix. You get, at this point, you also get some people in the mix who are obviously administrative staff. So people who live in areas like Renton, not
Even better.
Puyo. Yeah, so you get people who show up on the Sixth World equivalent of LinkedIn, as managers and things like that. So there's probably a few more cars or vehicles than were last night. So there's probably anywhere between 16 to 20 different vehicles.
Cecile posted the group chat. 16 to 20 employees. Maybe more, depending on if they carpool.
Or grid guides.
Or take public transportation.
Margin of error.
so we should count on at least 20 people.
I mean, grid
looks
guides
like,
so convenient that you really don't need to own a car.
Of guard rooms, there should be at least 6 in the prison, maybe up to 10.
Well, you do have blueprints,
Mhm.
right? So
I was
if
looking
we-
at the blueprints.
So if we look at level 1, I'm looking at the map of the first level, and I see that I don't have it labeled like I do the second level.
Mhm.
So what I would tell you is that, so this area right here, so this right here is the entrance, okay?
Yeah.
So you come through here. There's a guard room here, and here. And this area here is a kitchen.
So
Kitchen.
let's call it 10 prison staff, 6 administrative staff plus, I guess.
Yeah. You see, so wherever you're seeing these kind of little guys right here hanging off the wall, that's security cameras.
Mm-hmm.
It
Little
looks like,
guides?
excuse me?
I don't see them. Where are the things on the wall?
There are just these little, so anywhere you see these little sort of things sticking out of the wall. And then on the second level, oops, I didn't do that. All right, you guys see the second level now?
Mhm.
So again, you've got the little camera sticking off the wall. This looks like it might be some kind of control area. You've got a mechanical space with some kind of control board right here. And then you've got another guard area here. And it's probable that that vent that you're looking up on the roof comes down, in this area.
That's about where I thought it would be. I thought it might have been farther away from the catwalk, but I'll take a catwalk when it's given.
Okay, so Grace, you rolled up your spirit.
Yeah, I rolled it up. I need to resist the drain. Didn't realize I could do that. So for the first one, since I took 6, I resist 3 of that. That would do some.
You took 6 stun from drain.
I'm rolling to resist the drain that I did take. So since I took the next, so I have a -2, not a -3. Yeah. Nightingale, like as soon as the sun rises, would like go and temporarily commandeer the living room, probably before Boxer is well, Boxer may be up at this point, but she doesn't really explain what she's doing. Gathers up things for light and if not literal candles, then something to provide light to form like a semicircle, and actually makes a genuine summoning circle just in the middle of the fucking living room. And she promptly does some very magical things, and eventually a phoenix, an actual phoenix, appears, hazy and astral, and
Boxer emerges from the bedroom and sees the spirit of fire in her living room. She's going to
Think the
start
gun
reaching
will
for the
help
gun
you?
in her hip.
You think the gun will help you, puny mortal?
Her solution to many things is to draw a gun.
Like, so what I'm imagining is that Boxer just woke up and she hears like this strange animal clicking noise out through her door. And she comes out and she finds Nightingale in like literally a pentacle of like objects that glow, including her comlink and Boxer's comlink, which has the flashlight turned on. And like she's done other stuff. There's incense burning somewhere, and facing like down the hall, she has on a foreleg this frighteningly large, at least in comparison to her, bird of prey like on her, and she like looks. It looks at her before Nightingale does, and she like shines this. She gives this very cheeky little grin. Nightingale does to Boxer.
If that thing lights my house on fire, I swear to God, Nightingale.
Nightingale visibly like sags, and Boxer can tell how exhausted
Can I just say
she
that
is.
ritual is adorable and really
I
scary?
imagine. Yes. She sags, and like the bruises underneath her eyes kind of manifest at that point. It took a lot out of her to get this thing here. She just gives a yeah, okay, and it promptly
okay?
disappears, like folding in on itself.
What just happened?
Oh,
She holsters the gun.
I sent it back to the astral. It's still here. Actually, it's still on my. She motions at her foreleg, but it's not here. She motions at the room. We're doing, and she like noses at something in the air and then blinks. We're doing the big mission today. Remember? I was a spirit. I summoned a spirit for help.
Alright, and?
The first one didn't really want to help.
But this
Yeah.
one did.
Yeah, she didn't give me as much of a hard time.
You look like you need food. You want breakfast? I can make you breakfast.
I would like food. Yeah.
Yeah, let's do that. She runs her hand over her face. Get the sleep out of it. Trots over to the breakfast, tail swishing.
And it was an extremely creepy interaction.
Just kind of gotten used to it. A horse lives with her at the same time. She still has the instinct to
I'm just saying,
be like,
oh yeah, I
scary thing,
summoned
pull
a
gun.
demon. The first one gave me trouble.
Oh, she isn't thinking of him as demon. She's just thinking of him as Nightingale's unruly friends.
Unruly friends who are made of fire.
That's not far. That's not far from the truth. They are just kind of her unruly friend. Especially if you think of her as a spirit. It kind of makes a lot of sense. I can understand why you'd be Nightingale, once she's once Boxer's in the kitchen, she starts picking up after herself, cleaning up the pentacle of various electronic devices and one actual genuine candle. It was in her scholar's pack.
You can have a meet and greet, but I'd like to save the main event for tonight, personally.
I don't think that we're going to be able to wait for the night.
I just want this over with, says Cecile.
I don't think that you're going to get that tonight. Unless you mean something narrower than I think you.
What?
Capybara with the cat. Oh my god.
Oh,
So are we just going to do this in broad daylight?
I mean, we don't have to do it in broad daylight. We can do
I
it
prefer
in
daylight.
like narrow
It's better on my
daylight.
complexion.
It's an idiom, the equivalent idiom, and the Endare like explains the equivalent idiom, Spiritual as well.
I understood the idiom. I was being funny.
The Endare sometimes doesn't understand humor.
Nightingale posts one of those like neo-absurdist memes.
Dinder 100% does not
We try
understand meme culture.
infiltrating during lunchtime.
I don't think that's like the magic solution you think it is.
If anything, there will be more guards surrounding our guy
Okay.
during lunchtime.
Am I allowed to read the tidbits?
Yeah. And
Okay.
Kat, where was the thermal damper? Did you find that in the core rulebook? Or
It's in core rulebook, in armor section. I can give you the exact page. It's on 327, thermal damping.
Thank you.
I mean, I know at least 2 of the items I'll be receiving tonight will help us greatly. I can probably ask for a rush job on the last, but I would prefer if we push for another 24-hour or another 12 hours.
Has anybody gone and gotten or called ICE?
Told Boxer
He doesn't
to
have
pick
a
him up
found
at the
one.
samovar. Hold out at least until we drive into the parking lot.
All right, so what's happening right now?
Suggested going during lunch hours.
I think lunch hours is probably not a good idea.
I feel like
I mean, if we want it to be loud and wet, maybe, but there'll be it looks like there's a visitation area on the front, so there's possible visitation, and like there'll be actual people there, and I imagine the night shift will have less administration.
but also again, they know that someone's looking for this person. So if we don't make a move soon,
If we don't make a move soon, what happens? They move the guy? If they wanted to do that, they could have already done it.
okay, see. First of all, you severely overestimate the logistics of corporations. They are lazy. 2, also, we're dealing with like really, really messed up people. I'm not just worried about them moving him. I don't know. They know that we Shadowrunners presumably Shadowrunners, as anti-Shadowrunner folk, are looking for a former Shadowrunner.
Kendra, how long will it be before you get whatever stuff you want?
I'll ask for a rush job, but at the latest, it'll be 11 p.m.
You
tonight.
can get it to 5 p.m. We'll do it then.
Okay. I immediately go and text, I don't remember his name, but the guy I got the contact of. It's like, may need a rush job. Extra new yen in it for Paul.
I was on mute.
Oh.
You get a text back a couple minutes later. Sure thing, no problem. And a location pin drops.
I give him like the on my way, and then I just immediately head out.
And then it's followed by a $4,000 or 4,000 new yen text.
I pay it. Ugh, I've got to.
What the hell were you buying?
Yen spent. You weren't listening to me before. I'm buying incredibly illegal items. I'm purchasing 8F, 10F, and the 12F.
Yeah, Diender is actually the first person to
You thought it was going to
actually
be
buy
me?
illegal items.
I don't know. It would have been reasonable for it to be Boxer.
Yeah, I might have thought it would have been Boxer.
She already has a bunch of fun toys.
So Diender, you head out on your bike.
Cecile
The location is
is
in Auburn
accompanying
again.
Boxer.
This time instead of
Kendra. Begrudgingly.
You're in the sidecar? Okay.
you whip through the Auburn streets. Again, it's busy, and you get to a what looks like a tire change place, a tire place. It looks like it's been abandoned for a while, and homeless people might have moved into it. The place is quite run down. You see the Bulldog van that you saw last night parked out front, and the 2 orcs who were there standing around in front of the van. And as you pull up, the driver's door opens, and the dwarf with the red hair and the AR goggles and the black jacket steps out and reaches back in behind him and pulls out your duffel bag. And he walks over to you and he says, "Pleasure doing business with you. Just in case you were wondering, the extra charge at the end was for the rush."
I'm sorry about that, Rush. I have some, shall we say, impatient colleagues.
Yep, that happens. I understand, but time is money, and less time
Money is time. I understand. Again, I
Yeah,
apologize.
Pleasure doing business with you. Hopefully we can continue a mutually beneficial relationship.
As always. And I think Deandre bows. Like, the lowest she's bowed to a non-elf. Yeah, to a dwarf.
Oh, good. He stops for a minute and then sort of does a sort of semi-curtsy and doffs his hat towards you and gets into the van, and his orc buddies step in and they pull away. You are now the proud owner of a skimmer and reader and thermal dampened.
What's the rating on the keycard copier? 4, and what's the rating on my thermal damping? Good enough, Hells.
Yep, on short notice, that's about all you could get.
Hells bells. Hold this, don't drop it. I hand the duffel bag to
What do you
Cecile.
want me to do with this? I can barely
Hold on to it.
Actually, how heavy is it, Paul?
It's not super heavy, but it's bulky because it's got Deander's armor in it.
I mean, my armor is a camouflage.
It's probably a
Like a
little
skin-tight
heavy for
suit.
Cecile.
Camouflage suits are actually not skin tight. They're military uniforms, basically.
You
But,
could have gotten
like,
it in
civilian
Catsuit
stuff.
4.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I mean, Deander probably would have gotten in catsuit forms. She could, like, wear, like, a coat or jacket over it.
Okay, then.
I know that's weird or whatever, but
The idea of it is just comedic to me, I guess.
All right, so you're geared up. At this point, let's say it's about 10 a.m.
So the mission is a go.
well, that was all the items I needed, so
Let's go get the other 3.
The Topps Company, Inc. has sole ownership of the names, logo, artwork, marks, photographs, sounds, audio, video, and/or any proprietary material used in connection with the game Shadowrun. The Topps Company, Inc. has granted permission to the Hard Knocks Sorority podcast to use such names, logos, artwork, marks, and/or any proprietary materials for promotional and informational purposes on its website, but does not endorse and is not affiliated with the Hard Knocks Sorority podcast in any official capacity whatsoever. The music for the Hard Knocks Sorority podcast was written and performed by Trace Mineral. The Hard Knocks Sorority podcast is licensed under a Creative Commons License 4.0, meaning you are welcome to use the material as long as you give us credit.